Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and we're doing our first ever mod video. And I've been keeping my eyes on the mods for a while now, but I kind of wanted to wait until they were a little bit more, fleshed out. Hopefully until the official modding tools were released, and they have them available now on the Steam Workshop. So for all the people that are playing on PC, but don't really love having to, manually download files and make sure they're in the right spot, the Steam Workshop system works fairly well, because all you have to do is find the mod you want and click subscribe, and it will, add the mods to your game. So if they're on Steam, I always recommend going with that version. I am still sticking, at least for this video, with the Nexus version because I mod off of there all the time, so I'm super familiar with it. But also, it's on there. So today, as you probably know from the title and thumbnail, we're looking at the Silver Lys Gear. This was uploaded and created by Red Hazmat. It's one of the more complete armor mod sets, and that's why I started with this one. If you're a modder or someone who just really enjoys a different type of armor or weapons or anything else like that that's been modded into the game, you can always let me know down in the comment section below, and I would be more than happy to take a look at it. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you like this type of content, I invite you to do so now. But we're just going to be looking at this armor set. That's pretty simple. There's two full distinct sets, but of course, since we have a layered armor set system in this game, you can have tons of variation. I've just come up with 3 different levels of I guess, this armor that kind of showcase entirely different looks, but I think they all look really good. So if you were to get this armor, one of the best things about this mod is that unlike a lot of the armor and weapon mods you're seeing on, Nexus and Steam right now, where you have to spawn the things in, I don't like that. I always hate that as an option. This one is one that you can actually purchase. So in the town of Kuttenberg, if you zoom in, here's that central fast travel point next to the tavern that you have a bed at, right there on the main square. If you want to purchase these, you can actually go right to this store here, this Armourer, just above the Iron Eagle Inn, and you'll actually be able to purchase all of these items from him. And that is a much better way to get unique items that were added into the game than a lot of the mods where you have to actually spawn them in with console commands, which I know that I personally don't like that being the only option, so I assume there are other people out there that are like that. So if you want to get your hands on this after you've installed the mod, you just go to this armor. And installing the mod is very simple. I'm not going to go through installation instructions here because the mod page has detailed enough that they're easy to follow installation instructions. With that being said, I will have the link for this mod in the description. But now that I've, provided you with the link and showed you where to get the items once you have it, let's take a look at the items themselves. So here you can see before us, we're wearing the outfit, and now not every single item is from this mod. There's a couple items. The mail I'm wearing, the hauberk long, the noble gambeson, the knight spurs, mail hood with the coat of arms, padded chausses, and the mail collar. Those are all just vanilla assets. I just chose ones that have good stats and that look good with these suits of armor. So there are actually 2 color variants. We're starting off with the darker blued steel with the gold accents, and that has, or I've been pairing some red accents with that because that's the color that the waffenrock that I've decided goes best with this one is. So this is our first suit using this mod armor, and we will take a good detailed look at it out in the real world. But as you can see, it looks really good, and it automatically becomes the fanciest armor in the game once you have this mod. So we'll go down the description since the mod author did take the effort to do all of this handmade. So we'll read the descriptions and go through the stats of the items that are added with this mod. So we have the Silver Lys cuirass, a masterpiece of armory. This plate cuirass is adorned with exquisite floral engravings forged by the finest master craftsmen. It combines exceptional durability with an elegance worthy of the most illustrious knights. Has a stab defense of 138, slash defense of 100, blunt defense of 36, and a charisma of 27. Then we have the Silver Lys bassinet. This finely engraved steel bassinet combines strength and elegance, crafted with exceptional expertise. It provides optimal protection while remaining surprisingly lightweight. A masterpiece of armory as functional as it is refined. Stab defense of 136, slash defense of 100, blunt defense of 34, and charisma of 30. Next we have the Silver Lys plate legs. Precision forged, these plate greaves combine strength and mobility. Their elegant engravings are a testament to refined craftsmanship, while their ingenious design ensures great freedom of movement without compromising protection. They have a stab defense of 136, slash defense of 100, blunt defense of 36, and charisma of 20. Then we have the Silver Lys plate arms, beautifully crafted full arm and forearm armor adorned with exquisite engravings, offering unwavering protection while maintaining exceptional mobility. They are the preserve of the most illustrious knights. I wonder if that's correct. Perfectly combining power and mobility. These have a stab defense of 136, slash defense of 100, and blunt defense of 36, with a charisma of 18. And finally, we have the Silver Lys gauntlets, a masterpiece masterpiece from the finest master craftsman, sturdy plate armor, gloves intricately engraved with flowers and decorated with elegant hallmarks, combining protection and refinement. Stab defense of 136, slash defense of 100, blunt defense of 36, and charisma of 33. And lastly, we of course have a waffenrock, the red variant of the Silver Lys waffenrock. Elegant and symbolic, this linen waffenrock is decorated with fleur-de-lis, embodying nobility and prestige. In the center, a magnificently embroidered coat of arms represents a majestic phoenix, whose tail feathers bloom into delicate flowers, a garment as refined as it is meaningful, worthy of the greatest knights. This has a stab defense of 1, slash defense of 3, and blunt defense of 4, with a charisma of 25. So, like I said, this is our first variant, which is one where I do not have a waffenrock or a helmet on, so that's why I went with the plain mail collar instead of the higher level mail collar, because this one is, smaller and neater, and therefore I think looks better if you're not wearing a helmet. Let's take a look at it outside. So like I said, as a suit of armor goes, this one looks ridiculously fancy. I think it looks a little bit fancier if we don't wear the chainmail, but I can't bring myself to sacrifice that protection. But if we look at it, you can see that the cuirass is based on the Milanese cuirass. We have that fluting on it, but it's much fancier. We have the gold trim around the outside that reminds me of the Augsburg cuirass from the first game, but as we get closer, you can see that it's far more decorative than anything we have in this game for sure, and especially in the second game, or in the first game. So the engravings on this look fantastic, especially the arms. The arms go over the top because you can see, yeah, we have the fleur-de-lis up here, and we've got some words in there, which I quite enjoy, a lot of gold trim, but then if we look at the couters on the elbows, we've got whatever type of bird that is. I'm not a bird expert, but, engraved on there, and it's on the back as well. I guess it could be a phoenix, considering it said that the coat of arms in the middle of the waffenrock is a phoenix, so it would make sense if all of these birds around the armor are also phoeni. Would that be the plural of phoenix? The good news here is that if you use the knight's spurs, they're red, and they match with the red accents that we're going with for the rest of this suit. So yes, this is our first variant of the Silver Lys Gear. This is the red one, and like I said, this is without a helmet or a waffenrock. If we go to our second variant, it's just one where we've now put on our hood and our helmet, so we can look at it from the outside. You'll see the rest of it looks exactly the same, but this is just our fully armored version. So you can see the helmet itself actually is probably the least decorative piece out of all of the ones that are added with this mod. It still has some stuff that makes it special, and I know something a lot of people will enjoy is that it has the chainmail aventail instead of the cloth-covered ones that a lot of the noble helmets have in this game. I know a lot of people really like that difference, so it's a good-looking helmet and obviously matches the suit of armor perfectly. If we put the visor down, of course, I think it looks even better because then we actually are able to see everything. It's got great accents on it. The gold matches with the, the darker blackish metal so well, and we can see that engraving along the side and above the visor in the front. So overall, extraordinarily fancy. Now let's add our waffenrock and see what the suit looks like in its entirety. And there we have the waffenrock. So you can see, like it said in the description, we've got the fleur-de-lis around the outside, and then we have that phoenix in the center. I really like that. It's fun, I think, to roleplay. If you're playing as Henry and you want Henry to be playing as a knight, maybe you want him to be his own thing. This is a ridiculously ornate suit of armor. Now, that's not to say it's unrealistic. There are lots of examples from the late medieval period of kings, nobles, or even really wealthy knights having armor that was at least this decorative. So it's not unrealistic or otherworldly. If Henry was to walk around in a suit of this armor, he would certainly get noticed. This would be something that people would talk about, because even in the Kuttenberg region, I mean, you can see in the game what exists and what doesn't exist. I say it would be more realistic if you saw tournament knights and lords and other such figures walking around with really, really unique custom-made armor like this. I think that would be far more realistic than the relatively samey feel that we get from a lot of the armor in the game. But that's all to say that if Henry of Skalitz, the bastard born of Radzig Kobyla, was walking around in this suit of armor and NPCs could react to it realistically, I think they would be shocked. But it looks fantastic. So that is our first variant. Let's move on to the second color variant, which is similar in design, but very, very different in appearance because of how different the colors and shading and everything are. So let's switch over to that one. All right, so moving on to our second color variant, you can see that it is much more silver, and the accents on this one are going to be blue. So possibly more appropriate for something called the Silver Lys Gear, and obviously something that looks truly fantastic. So I'm not going to go through all the stats and descriptions because to the best of my ability that, from what I can tell, they appear to be the same. So it's still a very high level stat-wise and charisma-wise and everything suit of armor. All we've done is swapped out, obviously the darker blackish ones with the gold accents for these bright, shiny silver ones. And then, of course, since we have a blue waffenrock, we have the blue accents for our other items. So our first suit of armor, we can take a look at it from the outside. You can see, much like the first one, we have everything based, I mean, like the cuirass here is based on the Milanese cuirass, and instead of the darker blackish blue with the gold accents, we just have silver, and if anything, with slightly brighter silver accents. If we go down and look at the legs, you can see it's the same sort of thing as before. We've got those birds engraved on our knees, which looks truly excellent. The fluting from the cuirass on the Milanese cuirass has been adopted to the greaves as well, which I think looks excellent in this case. Like I said, it's just an example of stuff that arguably should have been in the game already. You know, there should be more difference between the different styles of armor than just some slight shape differences. If you could get some sort of custom engraving or stuff like that, it just adds so much to the suit of armor, makes it so memorable. I also like how we have that same engraving on the back. It gets real fancy that way. The arms, once again, just look truly excellent, as do I guess the gloves are a bit understated. If we're talking about the gauntlets for the suit of armor, they look good and they match the suit, but compared to especially the sleeves, I mean, the sleeves kind of put everything else, or I guess sleeves is the right term because it's made up of several different armor pieces, but they kind of put everything else to shame with how fancy they are. Even the cuirass doesn't look as fancy as the sleeves do. But overall, very good looking suit of armor. This one is definitely more appropriate for your, I don't want to say paladin because that's fantasy nonsense, but your chivalric knight type of playthrough. I know a lot of people like playing Henry as the white knight. I think this suit of armor fits that relatively well. So that's our first variant, the one where we're just wearing the mail collar and no helmet. If we switch to the second one, which is our variant with no waffenrock, but it does have the helmet, you can see we have, it's basically the same helmet, much like the rest of these items, except we have the lighter color scheme. The aventail for it does have the white accent underneath the mail, though, which is different, and I think looks very good with the suit of armor, especially once we get the waffenrock in place. But that is what it looks like with the helmet open, and that is what it looks like with the helmet closed. So super good looking suit of armor, I would say. I know that for the most part now, I like the waffenrocks that are added with this mod, but for the most part, I typically play without them just because I really like the look of plate armor. But let's check out the variant of this outfit with the waffenrock. And there you have it. So like I said with the first one, this would obviously be a tremendously fancy suit of armor for Henry to be walking around in. So I wish there was a way that the NPCs would comment on it. Like, if somebody would make a big deal about the fact that Henry is walking around in this, that would be awesome. But as it stands, looks awesome. If anything, like I said, I really like the way the first outfit looks because I love the darker blacked armor or blackish armor with the gold accents. I always think that looks so classy. And in that instance, the red accent looks great with it. This one definitely, like I said, feels more appropriate for a mod called the Silver Lys Gear, though, because we've got our stereotypical French colors, you know, the blue and the gold, and the fleur-de-lis are in gold on the blue field. That looks excellent. We still have our Phoenix crest, or our Phoenix coat of arms, I should say, which I think is fairly good as a... If Henry was to pick his own coat of arms, let's just put it that way, I think the Phoenix would be a great way to go. If for no other reason than he was born from the ashes in multiple ways. He comes out of Skalitz, a changed person, and his whole life changes after that, and Skalitz was burnt down, so it's symbolic for that. And then there's a mod called, or not mod, but a DLC called From the Ashes, where he further improves his station in life, moving up from just a, whatever you want to call him, a retainer or a man-at-arms in the service of some lower lords, to a bailiff and essentially landowner, in the way that at least he has landowner's rights, of a village that he rebuilt himself under the direction of a lord. But with that being said, I got off onto a tangent there. This suit of armor looks awesome, and I love the Phoenix as symbolically Henry's personal coat of arms. If we want to talk about stats quick, which of course I do, with this suit of armor, including the extra items that I've added in to fill out the suit, and Radzig Kobol's longsword, just because it's a great weapon. If we consider all of those things together, and we're looking at the variant, either variant of this suit of armor with, all the pieces, so we have the helmet, we have the Waffenrock, we have a total weight of 90.2 pounds. So it's pretty heavy, but it's not nearly as heavy as some of the suits of armor we've come up with. A lot of these items have really, really good stats considering their weight, and that shouldn't be too surprising because in the descriptions, oftentimes, they're talking about, they talk about the durability, but they're also talking about the mobility and everything. So that's reflected in the fact that some of these things are actually lighter than a lot of their counterparts. So 90.2 pounds, not bad for this suit of armor. For our value on this, again, talking about the complete suit, so we have absolutely everything on and that sword, we have a total value of 29,549.3 groschen. So fairly expensive. It does fall short of 30,000, which is our, Royal Superstar suit of armor, but not by much, and it is a tremendously good suit of armor. I mean, if you added the value of the ring and a necklace and a tagger or whatever, you'd easily be above that. I'm not wearing anything extra for this. I don't even have a belt or a pouch on, and I normally do that with outfits. I just felt that this outfit, or these suits of armors, are so good that they, stand well enough on their own. If we talk about armor value, if we just go down the averages, for the head we have an average of 199.7, for the body it's 201, for the arms it's 206.3, and for the legs it's 243.7, giving us an overall average armor rating, or AAR, of 212.7. So very, very good suit of armor. Definitely not the best we've ever looked at on the channel, but very, very good still. So I love this suit of armor. I love this mod. If there are any other mods out there that you'd like me to take a look at, especially if they are full complete sets, I've seen ones like the Gondor chestplate. That's interesting, and I'd be interested in looking in that mod if it was a full suit of Gondorian armor. Just the chestplate? Not so much. But with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.